Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Brews Atlanta. We're at Pond City Market, awesome Friday afternoon. I'm here with Morgan J Ingram, the Director of Sales, Evolution.
Hey.
I was so close.
You were close. Two E's. Director of Sales Execution and Evolution. Yeah.
I'm here with Morgan J Ingram, Director of Sales, Execution and Evolution at JB Sales. Let's get going.
Yeah.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm
glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. My day-to-day is that I train clients globally. Most notable are Salesforce, Zoom, Google. You probably use those on a daily basis, I hope, right? And so I've trained them on how to build their top of the funnel. And then I also have a podcast called the One Up Formula Podcast, where I focus on elevating people's growth and helping them become better as a whole. And I consistently post content on LinkedIn so that people can grow in their sales career, and then also holistically as a person as well, so that we can continuously one-up them. So it's been a fantastic journey so far.
What are some of the, and I'm sure you've got plenty, you got any scrappy sales stories, or where you had to power through difficult prospects, kind of get creative? Anything you can share?
There's always some scrappy thing that you have to do, right? So I would say this. I actually have a question for you before we get into that, because you mentioned authentic. Yeah. Because I actually want to go there, and it will go into the story. Yeah. How do you cipher through on your LinkedIn feed who is authentic and who's not? Do you have a checklist?
I feel like I've got a pretty good bullshit meter.
Yeah.
And can we cuss on this?
This is your show.
Yeah, it's my show.
You can do whatever you want.
Can we shoot a PG-13 version as well? I feel like a lot of that is life experience. You know what I mean? It's like you've dealt with enough people that you can see, and you get to a point where you're like, man, it's not all butterflies and rainbows. And when somebody's just on there talking about all the good stuff, you're like, nobody has that much good stuff all the time. They're just pushing down the bad, right? And so I feel like some of that is, and maybe that is just maturity in general. Of as you grow older, you're able to more clearly identify what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. You're able to cipher through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
No, that makes sense. So this was very similar to being authentic and then be able to cipher through things. So there was a deal I was working on, and one of the bigger deals and opportunities from a training standpoint that I've had so far in my career. And I originally had cold called the person to get into the account. And I had a good conversation, but I realized it wasn't going anywhere. And so one of the things I used to do a lot when deals weren't going anywhere, and it could be a big deal, is I would go to the office. Either I would get an invite or I would show up unannounced. Right? So it was here in Atlanta, and I was like, all right, this person, I had a conversation with them. They said they're interested in the program, but they weren't getting me in front of the decision makers, and wasn't going anywhere. It was stalling out, and they kept pushing me. They said new people are coming in and all that stuff. And I was like, all right. So then I was like, I remember emailing them being like, hey, because I was traveling a lot for training. I was like, I'm in town this whole week. Is there any possibility that I can get you and all your leaders to get in a room for 30 minutes? I'll tell you exactly what this training's about, and I can get a yes or no at the end of this to figure out what's going on, right? And they were like, yeah, that sounds good, right? So I show up to the office, prepared. I'm in there, right? Doing all the conversations, and it went really well, right? And then they said yes, right? But then, right, 2 weeks later, they're like, we got to push this out 3 months. So then what I did is, this is what I think everyone should do when they get to this point, right? Because you got people pushing you out. So I remember going to each person and making a personalized video for them.
Really?
Yeah. So sometime I did it over their profile. I did ones that were just like this. I actually got I actually hit up one of the reps. I had them send me swag, so then I could wear the swag in the videos, right? So they were like, well, who is this guy, right? So I sent them each an individualized video based on stuff that they had talked about in the conversation. And then from there, they responded. We got back on a call, agreed on what we wanted to do. And so one of the pilots was in Atlanta, and that's where it started, and then they liked it, and then it went global. So that was one of the stories of just being scrappy, of sometimes you just got to take it to the next degree. because that's what people may be looking for, or there's a lot of things going on. So you have to be the person that stands out because there's so much noise.
Right.
So I was like, my theme's always been, how do you break through the noise? And those are just examples of what I did.
All right, tell us last thing, Business and Brews. Tell us what you're drinking.
An IPA, a hazy. It was just handed to me. They saw me and they're like, yo, Morgan, what up? And they gave me one. Yeah.
You get a beer.
Yeah. And then I was like, you gotta give me that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you gotta pay. I had to pay. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks everybody. Another Business and Brews Atlanta. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers. That didn't make it, did it? No. A little bit.